Hey guys, welcome back with another video with Linksy. Hope you're doing well today. We have another land battle. I've been doing a lot of land battles recently. Um, they're so exciting. Probably because I've been ramping up myself mentally for the tournament which started off today. And you'll soon see quite a few replays coming out on my channel, Joannan's channel. Probably will cover a few as well. Ellington might cover a few. And I think Bobby as well. I'll link them whenever I will post about the tournament. Anyway, what do we have today? We have a 2 versus 2 sent in by Ian and Busman. So there is Arveni and the Roy Skytia. Quite interesting positioning versus Macedon and Masilla. Now I'm really interested about why the Roy Skytia are so far away from the army over here of Arveni. Arveni should essentially be the front line while Royskit just cycles around. But then again, it's 2 versus 2, so they're probably taking one each. The front line over here is Torx Pikeman. Quite a lot of Torx. Jesus Christ. What's this with people and spamming pikemen on land battles? I mean, I understand. That is the... how many pikes over here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pikemen. Okay, and then Torx swords over there in the back. Citizen cavalry supporting in the back. Skirmisher cav over here. Okay, Sarista cav coming in hot over there. It seems Rorskytia is just chilling in the rear. Levy Freeman would do relatively well against the Sarista cav, especially with Noble Horse support. There are 3 Noble Horse and some Celtic skirmishers, so they should be able to deal with this, but they need to charge in. They cannot... Yep, they're going to charge in. The general needs to charge in as well at this point. He's in a really good position to do so. The Light Horse got a really good pila throw over there and doing quite a bit of damage. It seems Masilla is moving all of its force onto Arveni and is going to deal a lot of damage. The Sarsa Cav over here is getting pincered between Noble Cav and Light Horse, along with the Celtic skirmishers. The second Noble Cav needs to go in as well. 2 Sarista Cavs there taken out for pretty much free, just 2 kills in total. They did really well, especially these Light Horse and the supporting units. The Freemen over here are pulling back. It seems they're using the Colosseum rules tournament where you have a maximum 6 of every unit. And 4 pikemen. Okay. Yeah, for a second I thought he had more than 4 pikemen, but still, that's a lot of pikey boys, pokey boys. Over here is Thorax Spam, Massilian Hoplite, so they're kind of new boxing over there. Which essentially explains why it's 35 minutes long. Land battles, in my opinion, shouldn't last more than 15 minutes, as it's usually just charge in and see what happens. But this army is just chilling over here, should really take advantage of the fact that Massilla's given up its flank almost entirely. Now these archers are going to be facing against Gallic Hunters. Gallic Hunters have the advantage of range, and as well as the Noble Horse coming in from the flanks over here, taking in position along with the Celtic skirmishers, is going to be moving forward. There's going to be a few Citizen Cav coming in to try and hold the advance of the Gallic force from the right flank up this way. Now, the Celtic skirmishers move mixed in with the horses is a brilliant move because it basically melts any form of missiles that comes along. Now, hoplites are being mixed in as well as the archers with the flank formation over there. It's going to do quite a lot of damage. Massilla's main force is essentially just stuck here. There are some cavalry it has on the flanks, but it seems that there is not really much movement from the Royal Skytia side, so at this point it's just a 1v1. Light Horse over here is getting slaughtered by the Sarisa Cav that came back, and it seems it was just forgotten back here. So these guys came back, they got a few kills over there. There's going to be a really good charge. The Noble Horse getting in the middle of this. Oh, they got stopped last second. They didn't have enough support. It seems the micro over there is going to allow the Sarisa Cav to come in and deal with the skirmishers really, really effectively. Now, just a pro tip. is pro tip, just a tip. Whenever you're fighting, you have cavalry charging straight at you, never run away when you have missiles, because you'll end up losing way more than that. These noble horse lost a lot in that charge. They could have done quite a bit of damage against that cavalry if they stayed and fought. The noble horse here is cleaning up the Saristakav completely, and these skirmishers should be firing. Roskitya finally moves in and starts pressuring the sides of Masilla over there, but at what cost? The Royal Cavalry here is getting slaughtered, is trying its best to run away. It's not entirely sure what it wants to do. It's going to be painful, and they charge in. The hoplites are stopping the charge. Didn't really get to charge, so this noble horse got slaughtered for free. It seems the force is being pulled back. These there is no micro. You need to micro your troops. Ideally, when you fight, you don't fight on one side of the battlefield. So when you're engaged in one area, you're moving in with the rest of your troops elsewhere. You're making sure you're communicating with your ally, and that's what defines like good players from like mediocre players or casual players of the game, is that the ability to just think, okay, what is the step that I need to take now, and usually need to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of where you want to be. Now, citizen cavalry, noble horse, front head on is not going to do much, especially since that unit just took so much damage. These units just, yeah, there you go, just absolutely slaughtered. They'll do very well in total overall. They do have a bonus versus large, I believe, when they're fighting, so they're going to destroy that citizen cav quite effectively. Unless they start running away, which is not a good idea. Citizen cav over there dies, and this one is dying as well. There's even more cavalry back here. There's a skirmisher cav that's being used. There's some Celtic slingers, probably some Gallic hunters also, mercenary Gallic hunters hiding over there. This force needs to start moving in. They have the missile range, so the pikes should be picked off relatively easy with the missile advantage that they have. Citizen cav over here is being picked off, and it is pretty much killed. Fortunately, the Celtic skirmishers, because it was trying to escape, ended up losing 20-30 more than it should have. And over here, the cavalry has been cleaned up from Macedon. Now Macedon is sending his archers forward. The Gallic hunters should be able to shoot. Yeah, in fact, they're targeting the archers individually, and they're sending in volley after volley of arrows, which is going to just slaughter the archers, who are not able to actually shoot at the Gallic hunters instantly. So the Gallic hunters get 2 or 3 volleys ahead, which does, as you can see, thin their numbers rather significantly. Now, Celtic warriors should just charge in and scare these guys off, as they're already breaking, and in fact that is exactly what is happening. Roskitya is update number 3, I think, or 4 at this point, is still chilling in this corner, and it's allowing its ally to get surrounded and flanked by cavalry over there. The Celtic warriors moved forward now, are collapsing back because the skirmisher cav has been seen from the flanks. These chosen swords getting a few kills over there, nothing really too big, and reducing the volume of that unit quite down. Now Masilla over here, on the other hand, is slowly but surely forming a noob circle, or noob box as it is more commonly known. The cavalry is moving forward over there and it's coming into the rear. The companion cavalry general is going to be quite a problem to deal with. The archers up here are going to be broken, and the light horse charging in will finish them off. There's not that much left. 1 unit is left over there, and that's going to be pretty much the end of it. Celtic skirmishers falling back, and the archers falling back, and now the Macedonian front line is collapsing onto the Arveni body. Now the problem is you do not really want to be fighting against Thorax pikemen head on, or pikemen, so you'd want to thin out your line and flank. Flanking maneuvers are going to be ridiculously important. Some Thorax swordsmen coming up here to deal with the light horse. Archers are going to do a lot of damage, like over here to these pikes, but only so much can be done. Pila is being thrown in. Just again, he's offering you his flank. Just attack his flank. Come on, charge in, and you'll be able to do so much damage. Why aren't these units charging in? At least this missile unit is down. More cavalry is being pulled over there. Meanwhile, there is no cav support from Roskitya to help Arveni. A few rear charges here would completely ruin Macedon's battle formation. There are some units that are being pulled off, but that's probably just to protect from the citizen cavalry. There was a Levy Freeman unit which seems to it's over or completely outflanked on the wrong side. Chosen Swords will beat the hoplites in a prolonged fight, and now this is the point where slowly but surely the Roskitians are moving out of the forest, but its ally is unfortunately getting slaughtered. These pikemen are being ridiculously effective with dealing with the very, very low armored units. The Pilas are working, doing wonders. Of course, you can only do so much. The cavalry, unfortunately, was walking too slowly, and a few of them, the general unit, were sniped. Arveni slowly collapsing, mostly due to the inability of a way to deal with the Macedonian pikemen, which again, yeah, just as expected, they have quite a number of Gallic, mercenary Gallic warriors over there, and 2 Celtic. Jesus, that guy had 7 slingers, 7 missile units. The citizen cav over here making it into the Celtic skirmishers. Actually, that's a bad idea. The Celtic skirmishers charging in. Probably they're out of ammunition, but they're going to do really well against that cav. The companion cavalry is the problem here, because if they get into those Gallic hunters, it's going to be a problem to deal with. And these warriors are facing the wrong way, so they're getting a rear charge. Last second they turn, but they are not braced. Unfortunately, the Celtic skirmishers were broken over there, and Arveni is getting slaughtered. There's not much they can do at this point. If they kill the pikemen, then Royal Skytia does have a chance of winning. Otherwise, it's not going to be that easy for them, because really and truly, if Royal Skytia was supporting, as we were saying, this would be a game over Saturn match. And as we were saying, 10 minutes is all you need for a land battle. You just need cooperation, and this is basically just a 1v1 with slight assistance from Massila to the Macedonian flank. Chosen Swords charging into the flank of these pikemen. There is a desperate attempt to beat those. Now, Chosen Swords will beat Thorax, so there's going to be a good chance over there. And this general is actually really low on health. Really low. 30 down to 30 men. It's going to get a few good kills over there, charging into the rear of those troops. More Celtic warriors coming back from routing, and this is just a mess. Hoplites over there doing their thing. Now, another thing, this is a really good example. When you have a unit of cav running after your missiles, do not move your missiles together. Split your units. So send one here, send one there, or send one there. And that way you'll be able to dodge and shoot as necessary in this scenario. The cavalry over here doing beautiful work, just pinning down multiple units. The pikes over there breaking slowly. And Royal Skytia finally coming to the aid of its ally and just throwing as much arrows as it can into the rear of these hoplites, getting a few decent kills over there. The problem is needs to have these steppe lancers come in and clean up. 2-3 steppe lancers can clean up whatever is left over here. The Levy Freeman charge in, and the general is still somehow alive. Somehow is still alive. He's getting quite decent kills, but then again, companion cavalry, unless you have 200-300 kills, it doesn't really pay for it. The noble horse over here, same thing. It unfortunately lost a lot of troops. Lots of fighting over here. Scattered pockets of fighting. Lots of pikes being enacted. Chosen Swords doing their best actually against all of these Thorax swords and units. The Royal Skytians over here are escaping. The armed lancers getting completely picked off by Massila over there, and the balance of power is ridiculously in favor of the Macedonian and Massilian forces. I must say, Arveni has been playing decently good. Again, small mistakes, small changes to the battle plan, and he would have won this because of the mistakes that the Macedonian player was doing and the way the Macedonian player was engaging, as well as needing some assistance from his ally. Really good use of his cavalry, however, I must say. Really good way of fighting in the initial Sarissa charge. Made some mistakes, and it's quite understandable. You don't always see it, but these trees, basically they slow down your cavalry to a point where any land unit can pick them off, so it does a lot of damage. Citizen cav over here picking off quite a few units, and now these archers getting really good shots into the rear of these troops, so that's going to be really useful. Again, sending a few units of armored lancers would help, especially if they have Saka, and I think they do. Sorry, not Saka, Draco. The Royal Skytian Horse of Draco. Draco just do fantastic damage against units of any sort. Okay, these pikemen are not... Ooh, that's a micro mistake from Macedon. The pikemen are not activated, so it's going to be a bit of a problem. Chosen Swords here just killing the general for Macedon, causing a mass rout potential to happen. Poor Levy Freeman over here holding as much as possible, and they have some support from the Gallic Hunters, just shooting whatever they can and whatever they find. Oathsworn unit still alive and is possibly going to get a really good charge into the rear of this unit if the Levy Infantry holds, but it seems that there is... why is he pulling his cavalry through the unit when he can just go around it? But still over here, not being really cool about this. Like, pulling a unit of cavalry straight through the middle of this is really not fun for anyone involved. Oathsworn charging in, and Oathsworn charging into the rear of your men is going to cause a little bit of an issue. Levy Freeman breaking last second. Man, these guys are going to be facing the wrath of the Oathsworn, and they're going to pretty much slaughter them. They're already getting 20 kills just from that charge. That's going to be really good massacre over there. Chosen Swords coming around the sides as well as the Gallic Hunters. So Arveni somehow, with slight assistance of the Amazonian Riders over here, who got decent kills for Horse Archers, are managing to clean up the rest of Macedon. Could have had less losses, definitely, but it was a beautiful fight, and we'll see what happens now. Now it's basically the remainder of the forces of Massila versus the Royskitian, which have surrounded the entire force. The main issue here is the Massilian hoplites are difficult to take down, and the Thorax swordsmen in shield formation are not something you can really take down with counter charges. To be honest, the Oathsworn are going to be imperative in winning that fight, because they're going to be needed. Now, the issue over here is these Thorax pikemen are still alive, and they are killing this last unit chosen over there. It's going to be problematic. This unit needs to charge in. Yeah, charge in and end it. If they have peel of any sorts, unfortunately they're all out. They're charging into the rear of that unit, and that unit should be breaking. The last unit over here is breaking as well. Citizen Cav was cleaning up the Gallic Hunters down there, as unfortunately General is dead. The units are dead as well. Oathsworn and Chosen over there cleaning up house. Macedon is out of the picture, so what is going to be the rest of it? So the Celtic warriors going in, just acting as an arrow. Jesus, so he has 3 Gallic Hunters and 2... No, yes. What? So he has Gallic Hunters, Slingers, Gallic Hunters, Gallic Slingers, and Gallic Hunters. So he has 3 Gallic Hunters and 2 Slingers, it seems. And he had Skirmisher Cav. Interesting. So these guys are very exhausted, very tired, but in decent kills, it seems. Their morale seems to be in decent shape. These guys still have ammunition. Yes, they do. So ammunition is going to be imperative in dealing with this central blob. Now it seems the weak point is on this side, so charging in here and shooting into the back of these Gallic Hunters is going to be really important. And then somehow these noble lancers are going to break through. The Draco is going to be very important, as it removes all charged defense of the Thorax swordsman, which means that you can theoretically, and the Massilian hoplites, which theoretically means you can break through their brace formation, but at a very heavy cost. Missiles coming in, shooting at the wrong targets, unfortunately. They should not be shooting at the front lines. Always choose this, at least the rear. We spoke about this in the last land battle we covered as well. Shoot into the rear of a unit, or else into soft squishy targets. You will still get kills from the front, but of course the shields are going to block quite a lot of that damage and do a lot in that regards. Over here, side shot is always good. I've learned recently also that if you shoot the side that they're holding their weapon, it does more damage, as you can see. See, 1 volley over here killed quite a few, whereas 3 or 4 volleys only killed 1. This Massilian hoplite unit is falling quite... Oof. Yeah, they're falling quite fast. They're falling really fast. That's nice. But of course... I mean, if they weaken this side, they'll be able to break into that, and that will do a lot of damage. You just need to get 1 horse unit into the center of this, and it will do enough to break everything. Essentially ending the game before it drags on too long. Because in a game of endurance, you need to break this in 1 or 2 strikes. Cavalry cannot really do that much unless you are very deliberate with the way you attack. So these guys are down 60 men. He's changed the formation because he realized he's taking a lot of damage. Still going to take quite a little bit, but that angle is not as useful. Now, these chosen swordsmen unfortunately are being sacrificed for free. The Oathsworn, again, it seems that the Royal Scythia is very, what is the word? Conservative? No, he's not very conservative with his forces. He's not fighting. He's a pacifist. He's a pacifist playing Rome too. How dare he? Okay, so he's engaging over here where the Royal Scythia has done the damage, so it's hurting these Massilian hoplites quite a bit. He's charging into the sides of these hoplites, and technically speaking it's the rear. These Oathsworn will chew through all of this, but now when the distraction is in place, cavalry needs to come in. There needs to be some form of charge into this side, and damage needs to be dealt as soon as possible, to be bluntly honest. The Oathsworn quite tired over there. Massilian hoplites falling rather quickly, and the slingers with no ammunition coming into melee combat with the Oathsworn doing a beautiful job in attacking the side of this formation. To be honest, I think this deserves a bit of a screenshot. I think this is a good look. There you go. And every time I take a screenshot, for some reason, it just goes to a random place on the map. Side note as well, since I pressed, if you press K, that's how you get the cinematic mode, and you can see the battles in cinematic mode. Some people, oh, the Oathsworn made it in. The Oathsworn made it into a blunder that the Massilian has done. The issue is he's using Amazonian riders to charge in. The gap is formed, but he's not in position, and he's trying to send in the Lancers in, but it's a bit too late. The sacrifice of these Oathsworn is all for naught. Although these Amazonian riders can make it in if they charge in, they should be able to make it in, but I have a feeling they're not going to. They're walking for some reason. Okay, they kind of got in. Alright, they got the charge. Weirdly, somehow, but they got the charge. And the charge is coming in. It seems Royal Scythia has decided to stop being a pacifist and try to help its ally, but unfortunately its ally is dead. Massilian hoplite is being pulled back in to deal with the Scythian Amazonian riders. The Amazonian riders obviously getting slaughtered. For some reason, these guys are just sitting there taking it. Again, charge the flanks of this, you'll be able to do a lot of damage. And you have so many units, just surround and pull in, and you should be able to break this. The more riders are coming in. Shock cavalry charging in. Doesn't want to. Okay, they're getting a really good rear charge into these Massilian hoplites. That's fantastic. Now they need to just charge into their side charges from the flank, and now slowly the box is being picked off. They're actually managing to get 1 or 2 units inside the archer lines, and that's enough to block a lot. These heavy cavalry, unfortunately, are losing so much. Okay, see, just if they did that just a few seconds earlier, instead of getting shot in the sides by so many missiles, it would have changed the outcome, maybe even completely broken these Celtic slingers. The Amazonian riders getting picked off at ease. Now the main issue, which I'm worried about for Massilla, is the obvious lack of lack of offensive capabilities. Apart from its missiles, is going to cause its army to really suffer. These guys are getting slaughtered one by one. Now the question is, will Scythia run out of units first, or will Massilla run out of missiles? Whoever runs out of either first loses. Charges happening everywhere over time, just units smashing into formations. The general is getting charged in from the front by the noble lancers. The Draco ability has not been used, which is unfortunate. This unit is getting slaughtered without even engaging. I'm not entirely sure why it's just standing there, dying. Oh boy. Now, there are still some units left. It seems most of the forces are engaged. Cycle charging in, and the formation are somehow holding, but as you can see, there are obvious gaps forming in the ranks, and most of the units are getting quite damaged. But again, it seems it's quite limited in the scope of what is happening. Units are retreating really slowly from the formation. The Royal Kitchen Horse is here, so Draco might be popped. And if that is popped, this is going to cause this entire formation to collapse in minutes. As you can see, if they manage to pop Draco, come on, Draco, quickly. These are melee, very heavy melee cavalry, so they can stay in combat for quite much longer than the shock cavalry, which of course, as the name implies, they're shock cavalry. So these have a charge bonus of 43, whereas these guys have a charge bonus of 76. But the Draco ability not being triggered is going to be a disservice to the remainder of the forces over here. The charges are still doing a ridiculous amount of damage, but it's only gonna be so long before the horses all die out. This, for example, this unit over here just standing there and not doing anything, whereas I must also point out Marcella is not taking advantage of these units being just left there. Yeah, this unit just went for... Why was it standing there? The circle is getting tighter and tighter and smaller, so there's not much space left. I'm not entirely sure that the Royal Horse user here, the Skitchin player, knows about the Draco ability, which is a fantastic addition to the roster, and it gives them just a little bit extra oomph in dealing with troops. They are almost broken through those two locations. These hoplites are suffering quite a bit of damage. And maybe even a charge into the side of these Thorax Swordsmen. Thorax Swordsmen have slightly less melee defense and armor, and by extension their brace is quite much lower. To be honest, most of... yeah, and the Massilian hoplites have bonus versus large, which also helps them in dealing with the horses. Of course, this is for... Does this go for 7 more minutes? Really? I mean, cycle charging, it seems, is working, but there must be an end to these missiles. At this point, they should be running really low on missiles. These poor men just holding the line, just being toppled over one by one, and they're like, why do I have to get up again? Being hit from all sides. I must say, it's the strategy is as much as not a brilliant one. It's finally breaking through. There are a few units that are breaking through in here, toppled over this unit, and they're getting into the middle of these archers, pulling out again. But the units are really getting weaker and weaker as it's happening. The cycle charging is definitely taking an impact. But again, the Royal Kitchen Horse charges in Draco, and all of this collapses. That then removal of the bonus melee defense and the bonus charge resistance really helps. We must keep in mind these guys have expert charge resistance, I believe. Do they? Hoplite wall, discipline, formation. No, they have discipline. So again, morale is going to be difficult to break over here. Okay, Draco has been popped finally, and the cavalry. So the Draco is going to show how important this is. Just the amount of damage is going to be drastic compared to before. Charging in, and the fact that it's been popped and the units are out of formation, it's going to be really important as well. More damage is being dealt and triggered in. Cavalry charge by the general, finally getting his hands... Ooh! Those Thorax Swordsmen were completely out of formation, getting rear charged Gallic Hunters as well. The general getting over 50 kills in one charge over there. Beautiful charge, especially into those high end units. The Massilian hoplites here finally breaking. As you can see, okay, the Draco ability went way... Where was it? The base... Where was it? I thought I saw a complete red line. But the Draco ability basically just is eating away at these men. The Gallic Hunters over here running out of ammunition, and the Thorax Swordsman getting hammered non-stop over there. Troops just charging in, and the formation is breaking. It seems Royal is going to be winning this. If they keep going at this rate, there's not much chance on opportunity being given to the formation, the soldiers to reform their ranks, and this over here is going to be the end of them. Now, what they could have done is these Turk swordsmen not put them in shield wall formation. They would have been able to get their Pila off, and that would have killed quite a lot more of the Scythian Royal Horse and resulted in the end of the army. Now, I realized I have been just zooming in and out quite nervously because I was trying to see exactly what is happening. So for now, I'll just try and slowly just observe the map from this angle. But as you can see now, it's basically just the last few drags. The formations are breaking. Must say also though, Royal Scythia themselves barely has any troops left. It still has a few units here and there. It still has a unit here in reserve, which has not been used whatsoever. But at this point, it's just every man for himself, every unit for themselves. The massacre, as you can see over here, has been drastic. I hope you guys have been enjoying the 1080p, by the way. I've been putting a bit more effort to try and make it look nicer and higher definition. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I'll have a much better computer than I have right now, and I'll be able to record in extreme graphics and in much higher detail, so you guys can enjoy it properly. And I'll be able to also edit, make them a little bit more entertaining, the battles. Maybe try and do cinematic battle being played out. Of course, that would take more time, but it should provide quite a bit of an entertaining story. Torx Swordsman over there getting hit from multiple angles. That unit of Scythian Royal Horse, oof. Yeah, those guys are going to break. The general over there is dying as well. The hoplites over here charging at the Royal Scythian Horse, which are doing quite a decent job. These guys came back, it seems, from routing. Everyone is just engaged. Yeah, that unit is still there. I'm not sure why it's still there, but yeah. Massila did hold on for dear life, and Macedon did a really good attack. Now, what did Massila and Macedon do wrong that they could have done better? They could have exploited the fact that Royal Scythia did not engage till 15 minutes in and just annihilated Arverni together. You know, few units of Massila holding the rear of Macedon while they flanked Arverni from the sides would have utterly destroyed Arverni with minimal losses for both of them. Now, the main issue is that this did not happen, and Arverni was quite capable of dealing with Macedon on its own, and there was very little need of Royal Scythia to engage over there. Even though, again, if Royal Scythia engaged earlier from their end, they would have been able to allow Arverni to have much more troops left available. So there was clear lack of cooperation from both teams between themselves, which is absolutely fine. But, you know, just for future, if you are playing with someone, just try to understand what your teammate's strategy is. And if they're not cooperating very well, just try to play along with their, tactic and just support them as best as you can, which can also be rather fun. These units are pretty exhausted at this point. The hoplites are holding, considering everything. I mean, there's just bodies everywhere, and it's why are they going to hoplite formation again? Just they have nothing holding their back. The general doing really well. Quite decent kills for all of these Scythian troops. Royal Scythian Horse. Was the last unit brought in? It seems it was. No, it's not. It's still there, just chilling, not doing anything. I'm not entirely sure why it's been hidden away and just left there to rot. These guys getting Dracoed. See, Draco just basically ruins anything. The Amazonian Riders charging in, getting a decent charge into the hoplites, doing a lot of damage there. The Syrian hoplites over there breaking, and these guys doing their own thing. All units are pretty much going away. And they're slowly getting ripped apart. Those guys are dead. That guy is dying as well. And the last 2 units are pretty going away. Yeah, they're dead. And that's GG. That's alright. Okay, let's see the kills. As expected, Bossman and Ian playing as Arveni and Royce Kitia. They did really good. Ian, next time, just be a little bit more proactive with your micro and help Bossman out. And Bossman as well, stretch your line slightly bit more. Really good use of your Celtic skirmishers and your horses at the start. Just a little bit more land awareness. Spritzer and Bismuth. Bismuth, just don't loot box, it doesn't help you. I understand you kind of panic when you're fighting cavalry. I wouldn't recommend citizen cavalry, and if you want something to deal with that, get Levy Freemen or get the Celtic warriors that Msilla has access to, because they do really good damage and they're really good units. Spitzer, you get a Gemma cavalry, if I remember, not a Gemma cavalry, Apis companion cavalry. They're really good. So instead of going for 2 citizen and 3 Sarissa cavalry, get Thessalian cavalry and maybe Apis companion cavalry, 2 of those. I wouldn't recommend archers on land battles, and as well I wouldn't recommend so many pikemen. Maybe the Thracian warriors would do really well over here. 2 pikemen would be good, but then getting like Radiant Slingers or Cretan archers helps drastically as well. Turek swordsman, always a good choice. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, just leave a like, maybe even subscribe if you liked it that much. If you guys want to have your replay being highlighted on the channel, just send it to me. I join Discord, which you can find the link in the description below, or else you can send me an email, totalwarbro@gmail.com. With that said guys, I hope you have a lovely day. Take care out there, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.